Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's specifically talk about interpretation. We've already got our claim, we've already got our evidence. We learned that in the first video, so I'm not going to talk about claim and evidence anymore. What we need to talk about is interpretation. Most of you, when you're doing interpretation, you're saying the exact same thing that's already in the claim and it's already in the evidence. Many of you on the last quiz said in your interpretation, this shows people came here from using the Pacific coast. Fix my spelling errors. We always do that. This shows people came here using the Pacific coast since there was enough fish, driftwood, and water sources. Okay, in this interpretation, this is not an interpretation. You will not receive any points for this kind of interpretation. This you already said in the evidence. You do not want to repeat yourself. Think about how annoying it is and frustrating it is when people repeat themselves over and over and over again, and you're like, I already know this, I already know this. Or think about how annoying it is when people tell the same story over and over and over again, and you're like, oh my goodness, I've already heard this story. So stop doing this in your interpretation right now. Don't do it anymore. It's not good writing. We have to think about what else do we know? What other background information do we have about the Pacific Coast theory? Well, a couple of weeks ago, we learned that there were bones found in an island off the coast of California. It was called Santa Rosa Island. Now, you can take the time to go back and look so that you have details, but you also can say there is also evidence of this theory that people came here by boat. Nowhere in the reading from the quiz and the evidence does this say that they came by boats. It says that they came along the coast, right? But again, we're adding more detail so that the reader understands. So that's a little piece of interpretation that's not in the reading. So there's also evidence of this theory that people came here by boat since they found bones, actually human bones, on islands off the coast of America. The islands are too far to swim to, so the only way the ancient bones got there is by boat. Okay, I'm adding more details. 2. The writing. The people reading this will understand even more. That's really cool too. Something else that you can do is you can talk about what's coming next. What does this lead to? Okay. Eventually, thousands of years later, people would move, or we could say migrate, across the Americas and become what we now call Native Americans. Okay, you're telling the reader what is happening next. These people came on boats from Asia. Thousands of years later, there are millions of people all the way across the Americas, different tribes, different cultures, different regions, right? You can even say something about how they all adapted to their environments to survive. Okay, these are things that we learned about. We're learning in history chronologically. One thing happens, then another thing happens, another thing happens. We call that cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. The last thing you can do is in your interpretation is that you can make a connection with